that I can share the screen. Didn't work. What happened?
All right, Prabhu, I think we are live now.
Are we alive? Oh,
yeah.
No,
I mean, we don't need to start. I just went live because sometimes it takes time, which is okay.
I just want to open my slides. Oh, I know what it is. Wow. I didn't copy to the computer.
Prabhu, you're going to start with Jai Radha Madhav?
I want to start chanting.
Yeah, you can. I mean, anyway, it's only 11:29. We can start by the time people join.
So what do you want to start with? What?
Jai Radha Madhav.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't train that one on my guitar, so.
Oh. All right.
Okay, so I'll just slap, clap, and
yep.
start to chant other songs. Okay, so I can start, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So let's sing. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Let's chant a little bit with the guitar. Can you hear? Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya, Bhutale, Shimate, Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Nityanande, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya, Bhutale, Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for taking your time and playing wonderful guitar for us. For Lord service, not for us. And you have picked a wonderful topic today, which is karma and justice. So we are looking eager to jump into the topic. I know you said you also have a presentation to make.
Yes, I have some slides.
Thank you.
Let me load the slides. Okay. Okay. We share the screen. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Krishna. I don't see my screen here. Why? Some technical situations here. Hold a second. Let me see what's going on.
So do you see the share?
No, I don't see an option to load my image. Hold a second. Let me see why. Let's see here. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I think you need to open the presentation. Yeah, we can see the your desktop.
But you don't see the image.
I see all the icons with our different presentations. Did you already open that, Prabhu?
Yes, I did open.
No, we are seeing only the
With the icons.
Explorer, yeah.
Oh, because it opened another window. Let me try again. Oh, now it is an option. Okay. Now you see it, right?
Yes, sounds good. Thank you.
You still see it?
Yes, Prabhu, we can see.
Okay. So karma and justice. I want to talk about this interesting topic. It's very current, and we can talk about justice in our society and see a relationship with karma and vice versa. So in this picture, there's an interesting picture. The guy is pushing this domino effect, but the last standing domino, he will hit himself. So he's pushing something which is going to go around and hit himself. So that's an interesting picture. So we have to be very careful what we do because it can come back to haunt us. Okay, so some definitions. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Yep.
So definitions of karma. The word karma means work or action, but also represents the law of action and reaction, or cause and effect. So when we talk about karma in philosophical terms, we always intend to talk about the action and reaction, not only the root meaning of the word karma, which means just like work or action. And justice. Justice, I grabbed this from the Webster dictionary. So justice is a concept of moral rightness based on ethics, rationality, law, natural law, religion, or equity. It is also the act of being just and or fair, to be in a fair condition. You want justice. Everybody wants justice. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So just want to put some definitions here so we are in line between each other, that we understand what we're talking about. So I want to introduce like a parenthesis. I want to introduce another word here that we're going to be used later on. is dharma. Dharma is the path of righteousness and living one's life according to the codes of conduct as described by the Vedic scriptures. Is the law of nature as well, is the tendency of one's occupation. So the word, if you look in the Master Dictionary, you will find um, meanings like justice or the right thing to do, occupation, religion, duty, intrinsic characteristics. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is being referred as a kshatriya. So his duty is to defend uh, religion, defend righteousness, defend what is the right thing to do for the whole society. So, and that's an interesting point where dharma connect with, dharma connects with karma, which connects with justice. So we're going to take a look on those points. So the first, I want to bring out this connection with dharma on this verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which I just mentioned. It's the chapter 2, verse 31. Swadharmamapi chavikshana vikampitum arhasi dharmyadhi dudakshayo nyakshatyasya navidate. Considering your specific duty as a kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation. So this is a part that Arjuna is already explaining to Krishna that he doesn't want to fight. And Krishna started explaining the philosophy of the soul and duty. That's a part of the second chapter where duty is start to be mentioned by Krishna. So you see that there's two times the word dharma was used in this connection. In the beginning, swadharman, and then in the second line, dharmya. So the first one you see on the translation, that considering your specific duty, this specific duty as a kshatriya, this is swadharman. And the other part, fighting on religious principles. That's the second part, dharmyad connection. So we see here that the word dharma is very broad. It can be used for different things, including to be just, to be righteousness, to do the right thing, which is very much related to justice. So now let's connect justice to karma. I just want to make this point of dharma because it's a very important word that we should study. So let's talk about social justice. Social justice is the view that everyone deserves equal economic, political, and social rights and opportunities. We see nowadays more and more when we see divisions in society, that we see conflict and we see desire of one group for justice when another group is exploiting. And we see unfair, it's not, there's no justice. We want to be equal in terms of how things are in society, in how this society is organized. So social justice is where everyone wants economic opportunities, political opportunities, social rights. They want to receive security. They want to have education, healthcare, so many things in society we see today that it's unbalanced. So justice is required. So people are asking for justice, and even more so when life of someone is taken based on some um, social or even racial or gender or whatever bodily concept disagreement. So someone thinks that another race is less than my race, so I can exploit or even kill. And then we see that there's a revolt. We see a revolt. We see that we don't agree with that. So we want justice. We want to um, the other party, the other person, to pay for their actions. And there's law, so society is organized in such ways to be able to punish or reward people's actions. And that's where social justice comes in. And they flow in so many different aspects. And why injustice is happening is because our society is being based on bodily concept of living. We're going to discuss a little more about this point. So the next slide here, I'm bringing this concept of social justice to life justice. So what about life justice? So an image here will see a baby just holding a computer and the other one um, grabbing food from the floor. So we see an unbalanced situation here. And because of this imbalance and looking for justice and equality, different people in history started to um, critique, started to look for different solutions. So that's why I wrote it. Capitalism, socialism, communism. There's the left, there's the right, there's the liberals, there's the conservatives, and so many different opposite uh, opinions to what is the solution for this situation. And we all are very we have empathy to this situation because we see that it's very unjust and it's not a desirable condition that we want our fellow humans and even other animals to be in. So we have this feeling of justice and we want to find solutions. So now let's look the same picture, the same point, but with another perspective. So it's the same thing. What about life justice? In the same picture. But we could ask, why some are born rich and others poor? Why some are born intelligent and others not? And the list can go on with beauty, with um, skills, some specific talent more than others, or be born in a group that receive more opportunity than in the other group. So why are this happening? So we're looking to the same picture, to the same reality that we see in the world, but we just shift our perspective. Instead of looking to just the difference of the body and conditions of the body, we start to look beyond that. Start to look why someone is born like this way. What is the law that controls why someone is born in this way or that way? So we can fall in two directions. One is materialism or atheism, and another word is a religious or a spiritual path. So if we look as the chemical elements are the source of consciousness and the source of the person, and the person is born and die, and that's it. There's no higher energy, then we're going to look for solutions like on the other slide. Oh, I'm sorry. This slide. Solutions on based on a bodily concept: capitalism, socialism, communism, left, right, liberal, conservative. We're going to look for solutions on those directions. But this is not going to give solutions because we're still based on something that is temporary. So we have to look beyond just the body. We have to look beyond just conditions based on the idea that the person is the body. So let's continue on here. So now let's look for this spiritual perspective. When you say spiritual, we are talking about an energy that is not material. So let's read the slides and then we go in detail. So first point, we are not the body, but eternal living beings. So let's talk about this point first. So how can someone can understand that we're not the body, but something beyond the body? Well, first of all, we can analyze our own experience. We are witnessing the world and our own body, our own mind changing. We see that everything is changing. Everything is changing. Culture is changing. History is changing. Technology is changing. The cycle of life is always changing. And our own body is changing. But we are witness of all that. We didn't change. That energy that we are is presenting different characteristics, different properties. That's how we analyze energy. So we see that everything changes on a material platform, the combination of atoms and the behavior based on that condition is always changing. So we see a clear distinction between that and ourselves, that we didn't change. We are still the same person. For example, someone can lose a finger. It doesn't become another person. It's the same person. And I even saw, you can search online if you don't believe me, people that lost half of their brain and was even continued to live, didn't die, and was even able to graduate from high school, go to college and everything. Of course, the motor condition of the person wasn't the same, but the person still lived and still have a personality, desire, effort, determination, everything is still there. Consciousness is still there. So how can that be? If we are the brain and we lose half of the brain, we should be half of a person. So something beyond the body adapted to that particular circumstances and continue. So what is that energy beyond? So we can see clearly that energy doesn't change. And we call it spiritual. In Sanskrit, we call it Brahman. In another language, will be another word. It means that energy that has the property to be eternal. We see that material energy has a beginning and an end. So when we see an energy that doesn't change, it means we can conclude that this energy doesn't have a beginning and therefore is not going to have an end. It's eternal. That's what it means, eternal. So we are this eternal living energy, living being. So the second point, we are made of spiritual energy. That's what we're talking about, which has the following properties. Eternal, we just spoke about that. We're full of knowledge and bliss. So that's the second point, full of knowledge. What that means? Well, we see that material energy doesn't have knowledge. It needs to acquire knowledge. When we were born, we were a baby, we have to learn from our parents, then we went to school, etc., etc. Then we start to live, have a relationship with other living beings, and when we learn. So we have to acquire knowledge. A, you know, a dead thing like a table, a rock, doesn't even have consciousness. So it doesn't have any knowledge. So knowledge is also connected to consciousness, which is a symptom of life. It's the symptom of the spiritual energy. And bliss, same thing. We are fighting, we are going after to be happy. We want to be happy. That's the goal of life, to be happy. This material life is to be happy. We want to be happy. And we're looking for happiness through the senses of the body. But if we're not the body, then the senses is this vehicle that we connect to the material energy. So how come we're going to get, and it's temporary, we already saw that it's temporary. So how are we going to get bliss, happiness? So therefore, if the material energy, which is temporary, the spiritual energy is eternal, so the material energy doesn't have any knowledge, and it doesn't have happiness, bliss. You have to fight for it, you have to go after it. So therefore, the spiritual energy already have knowledge and also already it's already happy. But I have to turn on, just a moment, I have to turn on the power for a second. This might. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry. But one can ask, okay, the spiritual energies already have happiness, but I am the spiritual energy. So how come I don't feel this happiness? Then the explanation is because we are identified with matter and we are looking to get happiness through matter. So we have to recover our true identity as spiritual beings so we can be able to uh, recover that happiness. It's already there. We have to recover. That's the important point. Number 3, we are parts and parcels of a supreme being, the totality of all energies, spiritual, the living beings, and material. So there is a source of everything. Someone can go, oh, what is the source of this, or is this? What is the source of this, is this, and go on and on forever. There's this idea. But we have to stop somewhere. Somewhere, something will be the source, and there's no source for that source. Is the end of the search. And that source, a supreme being, is Krishna. So Krishna is the source of everything, source of all energies, the spiritual energies, the living beings, us, and the material energy. And the fourth point, we have an eternal loving relationship with the Supreme. So we have a relationship with the source, and as a loving relationship, because happiness is connected with love. When we want to be happy, nobody wants to be happy alone. Happiness comes with relationship, and that's bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga means relationship, a loving relationship with the Supreme. So now, when we see the spiritual perspective, let's go back and analyze the whole situation of karma and justice. So karma is a natural condition acquired by our past deeds and our desires. It is nature's law. There's good karma, bad karma, and no karma, to be karma free. So in the picture we see, there's this example, like the material energy is like upside down banyan tree with all these branches and leaves that cross each other, and you don't know where's the beginning. You don't know where it starts and where it ends. It's a complete network of branches and twigs and leaves and trunks and everything. Um, Very complicated. So with karma, with a spiritual perspective, what we just talked about, and with the idea of karma, with all actions lead to a reaction. You can't pass the exam if you don't study, right? That's action and reaction. You study to the exam, you go make the test and you pass because you learn the subject matter of the test. So, that's action and reaction. Now, let's introduce another concept here, which is transmigration of the soul. To really grasp the idea of karma and the justice of nature, we need to understand what we just understood about the spiritual soul, which is eternal, now in a material condition. And we acquire a body. That body is based upon our past deeds and our desires. But what past deeds? It means that we had a previous body and a previous body and a previous body and so on. We don't know when was the beginning. Somewhere there was a beginning. We were in the spiritual world and we desired to come to the material energy. And we did. And we're here. And become attached to the material energy. We become identified with material energy. And we continue on and on with our desires and the rewards and punishment of our past deeds. And we get another body and so on. So we are transmigrating from one body to another body. And we're carrying with us this baggage of good karma and bad karma. And because of that good karma and bad karma, we get another body. It doesn't mean if it's just good karma. Good karma is going to lead to another body. And that's the justice. So going back to the slide where there was the rich baby and the poor baby child, why that happened is because of conditions of things that we did in previous lives, in previous bodies. And then that goes on to another body, and then another body, and then we just accumulate this actions and reactions, this mix of what is the word? Work and results of our work, our behavior as well, and what we desire. So that's nature's law. That's the law that was designed by the Supreme Being Krishna. And he designed this law in such intelligent way that in reality, it doesn't affect the spiritual soul. Like Krishna is explaining in the beginning of the second chapter, the soul cannot be burned, cut to pieces, wet, frozen, or whatever. The soul is never, ever affected by the material energy. It just based upon identification. For example, you're driving your car You know you're not the car, right? I don't think I need to explain that. So you're driving your car, and then suddenly someone cuts you, and then, very close, and then you have to brake, and then you do like this, like if you're going to hit your car, you just like, you feel it. It's almost, you don't want that your car being hit, but you're not the car. But you get that sensation because of identification. We are identified with the car because it's my car. I need to protect my car, take care of my car. My car is, all those reasons that is completely logical, of course. You don't want to have to stop in the middle of the street, and it's a it's not a desirable thing. I don't need to explain. So, but you have this condition of this almost feeling that someone is going to hit your car, and you don't want that to happen. Identification. Whatever reason you have, completely logical, completely makes sense, and it has to be there, but it's because of identification. So same way, this identification makes us think, and it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful that we really forget, between quotes, our natural condition of to be a spiritual, eternal spiritual entity, full of knowledge and grace. So the best position is to have no karma at all. Dissolve the karma, eliminate karma, good or bad. How to do that? How do we do that? So I brought in this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very interesting because the answer of my question will be a spiritual path. Right? Spiritual path. You train yourself on the spiritual side, and then we get to identify with our real nature, detach ourselves to the false nature of the material energy, and go back to the normal condition. So, but which path? Which path? Which is the spiritual path? So here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, or the Bhagavat Purana, there's the same point came about, and the sages were, in this meeting in the forest of Naimisharanya, and they were asking the question to the presiding person, which was Sutta Goswami, and they asked that question. It's Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 11. And the question is, the Sanskrit is beautiful. Bhurini bhuri karmani shaptavyani vibhagasa atasadhotrayat saram samudritya manishaya bruhi patraya bhutanam jenatma suprasidati. There are many varieties of scriptures. This was about 5,000 years ago. And there was already varieties of scriptures. And same story we see today. And in all of them, there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of study in their various divisions. So various scriptures, and the scriptures also divisions. So imagine how many options are there. So therefore, all sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instruction their hearts may be fully satisfied. Suprasidati, fully satisfied. So let's go to the answer. Here's the answer. I didn't put the verse. I think it's verse 9. Canto 1, Chapter 2, I think it's verse 9. The answer is, Savai punsam paro dharmo yato bhaktira dokshaje haitukiya pratihataya yatma suprasidati. Same verse, suprasidati. So now you see that word, karma, again. And here, Srila Prabhupada translated as occupation. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which people can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So you see that he didn't take any favor. Oh, you have to follow these scriptures in this division. That's the best one of this. No. It just like they ask him a question, he captured the essence of everything. That's Bhakti Yoga, the essence of everything. The supreme occupation for all humanity is that by which people can attain the loving devotional service. See, remember that we are talking about that there is a supreme being and we have a loving relationship with that supreme being. And right here, that's what is coming in this information. So we need to attain this devotional service. But how? We have to practice this devotional service with there are two requirements, only two. First one, unmotivated. What that means, without motivation, but I have the motivation to acquire the knowledge. So no, here means this motivation, it means material motivation. I don't want to, I can't develop, recover my loving relationship with the Supreme if I'm going to practice this path, this spiritual path, but I want to be rich, but I want to have this spouse, that I want to have this career, that I want to have this or that in a material platform. No, has to be without any tinge of any of those material desires. Only spiritual desires. And has to be uninterrupted. It's not something that I practice today, tomorrow I don't, day after tomorrow I don't, maybe the other day I'll do it. No, it's a lifestyle. I like to say like that. It's a lifestyle. What do you mean a lifestyle? For example, career, your job is a lifestyle. Every day from Monday to Friday, in general, working Monday to Friday, you wake up and you prepare yourself and take breakfast, etc. Whatever you drive and you whatever, and you go to work and you stay, you do some duties at the work, and it's a lifestyle. You do this every day. It's a lifestyle, like a sports or any type of career. It's a lifestyle. You do it every day. And then you learn. Sometimes in the weekends you have to study, you have to learn new things to use on your career, to progress in the career or make to a better job. So it's a lifestyle. In our society today, our culture, it flows in a certain way. It's a lifestyle. That's what it is, spiritual life. It's a lifestyle. We wake up, we continue doing our work, family, we're doing what we're doing, but we add Krishna consciousness. We add this spiritual path of Bhakti Yoga, which is the chanting of Hare Krishna. So, to conclude this whole thing, karma is the ultimate nature's justice. The goal is to be free of karma, good or bad, by rescuing our natural spiritual condition, which is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. How we do it? We add this mantra in our lives. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare means this loving relationship. That's the energy. The energy of love in relationship with the Supreme is Hare. Krishna means the Supreme. It's the all-attractive. The most attractive being is the Supreme Being. Rama, means a source of pleasure. For happiness, pleasure is included. So we want to have pleasure. We're seeking for pleasure of the senses at the moment. But we can also find pleasure inside, in the Supreme Being, in our relationship with the Supreme Being. So karma is the ultimate nature's justice. So we spoke about justice. We spoke about the desire of justice in our society. And we shouldn't lose that goal. It's important. We want to live in a peaceful condition, in the best condition possible, so we can practice spiritual life. That is there. That condition is there. We want that. So we want justice. But how to achieve this justice? Where's the solution? We can organize different things, and it could be very good organizations. But if we don't look to the right perspective, the solution is in the same nature of the material nature that we already discussed. It's temporary. Solutions will be temporary. It will change history, social situation, culture will change, and that solution is no longer going to work. And when we find a solution, it cannot be just a material organization that you put this here, you combine this here, and you have a solution. It doesn't work that way. People have desires, people have feelings. You can just disregard the human nature, people's nature. Can't disregard that. That's why I included the word dharma, which is very important in the whole picture. So karma is the ultimate justice. It doesn't mean that we don't look for justice here now. Karma doesn't mean that, oh, this person did that, so just wait for nature to take care of it. No, it's not like that. Because the person, if it's a criminal, he can hurt another person. So we have to stop that person so he doesn't commit more crime, which is going to be good for the whole society and the person themselves. Because that criminal is also a spiritual being. But because I've the material identification, is now became so envious, so distressed, so disgusted with everything that he now want to hurt someone else. Different reasons. Psychologists there to explain all the reasons, but many reasons. But the idea is always the same. It's because of material identification. And how to be able to understand the whole picture, we have to understand karma, transmigration of the soul. Understand that the soul is eternal, it's passing to one body to another body. We're changing the bodies in this life. So therefore, I can conclude that I'm going to change to another body in my next, when this body ends. When this body ends, I'm going to get another body. And the actions and reactions is called karma. And that's the real justice. We're going to receive what we deserve. We're not going to receive anything more, anything less. And karma is not destiny. No, that's a mistake also. I've heard this a few times. People saying, oh, karma, destiny is something fixed. No. Karma has several stages. It's like a fruit from a tree. Several stages to the point to be ripe, ready to eat. Several stages. So, for example, the body look that I have, that all of us have, that karma we cannot change. We cannot change our parents. And we have certain abilities, we have certain things that it will be guiding us to our lives. But not all karma already took effect, and they can be stopped. And how to stop? By practicing spiritual life. What spiritual life does, it dissolves karma, get rid of the karma, good or bad. And that's the real point. Because if we have karma, we're going to be born again. Only without karma that we're going to be liberated from the material energy. And then we start by chanting the mantra Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm going to stop.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for a very simple, powerful message and good slides that you took time to prepare. It was very wonderful. So anybody on the call have questions or comments, please unmute yourself. I'll also check on Facebook if you have any questions.
Can I see the questions on Facebook?
I'm looking, Prabhu. I don't see any comments. I mean, no questions so far.
Oh, okay. I think I'm not so popular.
Hare Krishna.
Hey, Haribo.
Hi. Sorry, kind of sweaty out here, but it's a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the explanations and how, especially from the first slide about the, what do you call that word? Domino effect, right?
Yeah, the domino effect.
Yeah. And that's a very wonderful example of one we especially don't realize that my small action consciously or unconsciously will come back to us. So that can be a something big issue and something good I learned. And also, Prabhu, regarding the karma, the activities that we are performing, you mentioned that how it can bind us. But when, and at the end, you also said that when we chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Mantra, the deliverer of the all conditioned souls, when we do that, and most of us do that, and we still feel something is like coming back to us or hurting us in some way, is that considered as some sinful reactions of some sinful activities as the practitioners, or is it taken to be in a different way? That was my question, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We have the karma that's already there, that we can't change. Like I was saying, the shape of my nose. Well, I can make plastic surgery, make it different. But the idea is that we have this karma that's already there. So like our talents and things. And there's also the point that we are in the material nature. So the material nature is karma of other people. So social karma, planet karma, environmental karma. So karma is not something just for individual, each one. There's all, because it's action and reaction, interaction with everything. So every environment. So for example, now, I didn't do anything, but I'm suffering, and we all are, because of this pandemic. For example, we didn't do anything, right? But we are suffering because of it. It's a social karma. The whole planet now is suffering because of actions of a group that affected the whole thing. And how we deal with this, that's the tricky part. In the same way, I think everybody here has already kicked the foot of a furniture. You're walking, bang, oh my gosh, why that happened? What a karma.
Right. Good example. Yeah, I know.
Because we are inserted in the material energy. So material energy continue moving. It never stops. Every single moment is moving. And then we have imperfect senses, right? And then we miss the calculation where we're walking and boom, hit the foot. It could be something that we did, or it could be just because we are in the material energy and things are happening. Okay. So also the progress of spiritual advancements is a gradual process. It's like the example Srila Prabhupada gave as the fan. You remove the fan from the power, the fan continues spinning, but gonna slow down, slow down, slow down. So that's why we have to do this. Like I was reading on the Srimad Bhagavatam, the answer uh, uninterruptedly. That's why we have to do, it's a lifestyle. We have to every day chant,
Yeah.
understand the philosophy, and chant, and understand the philosophy, and chant, associate with others that wants the same goal. And all those things together make a lifestyle. And that lifestyle is pushes up to the spiritual platform. But on the way, things are happening.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. That's very, very helpful, especially with the furniture effect. Now, we always hit that furniture without knowing. And that time we don't think about this, but this is something that, is part of that. We don't have to always blame karma, but just be more attentive while we are chanting or doing meditation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful class. Thank you once again.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Hare Krishna.
Good to see you.
Prabhu, one question. So you said one thing, bhakti, or being in spiritual life, it dissolves karma. So by being in bhakti, does it? I mean, it doesn't take out the previous karma, or also we might still be acquiring more with the other actions that we continue to do, even though we are in path of bhakti, right?
Yes. Krishna explains in the end of Bhagavad Gita that we have to surrender, fully surrender. And we are trying there. We're trying to fully surrender. But we have so many attachments, so many things we do. So things that we do, those attachments, they not always are related to Bhakti Yoga. And those things are still going to generate karma. To be really fully, it's a gradual process, like I was explaining. It's a gradual process. There's a goal. There is a target, up there, which is to be pure. To be fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, not only with the body and the mind, but with our selves, the soul, completely free from false identification. So that's the goal. But we are getting there. On the way to get there, things happen that lead some reactions. Because they're actions that lead some. So it's a mix. That's what is called a mixed devotional service.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, if not, Prabhu, thank you so much once again, for giving your wonderful association virtually. Sometime becomes direct soon when we don't know. Thank you so much. So once again,
Thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Vanchakam. Jai, Lord Vasha Prabhupada, thank you. Haribol.